Hey there, welcome to Storytime with Ellie podcast, and let's get ready for some tail wagging stories. We are joined today with true champions for these furry friends. PolkaDogz is a nonprofit organization here in Central Florida, the Orlando area. Let's welcome our special guest, co founder, operation manager, Aaron Stein, and pack leader, Donna.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah,
Good to be
thank
here. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. Um, I need to express my gratitude for you two even coming here today, taking the time out of your busy day with all those little animals, little doggies. And I appreciate it for coming in here today. And, let's tell our listeners what PolkaDogz is all about.
All right. Well, this is our ninth anniversary this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we've rescued 1,800 dogs.
Whoa.
So yeah, we've got quite a few that we've rescued right now. We've got about 50 dogs in our care,
Oh, my goodness.
almost. But we really focus on seniors, special needs, and shy dogs. That's our go-to. If we had all the funding in the world, that's all we would do. But vetting's very expensive, so we get some easier ones and some, because the adoption fees are a huge part of it, and the seniors and special needs dogs have much lower adoption fees than the young, healthy, dogs that we have.
Okay. When you say adoption dogs, they're dogs that you prepare and get ready to be adopted out by, you said senior. Do you mean the senior dogs, or do you do any kind of, um, like for people for like support animals, dogs, or seniors for support?
Well,
Does that make sense?
definitely, yeah, it does.
Okay.
Definitely, what I'm talking about in this case is the dogs. We do a lot of, we essentially we get the dogs, and then we rehabilitate them, which usually involves a lot of vetting. That's like usually number one. But there's also like temperament stuff we're working on too. But we do like to adopt to senior people as well.
Right. Okay.
So we try to focus on a senior for senior. So what we call it, trying to get those people that are, a little older to adopt those dogs that are a little older, um, because it's just usually a better fit.
Yes, I would totally understand that. Now, some of the dogs, if not all the dogs, do they come in usually injured or with usually with injuries, correct?
Yeah.
I mean, you just don't take people's dogs that want to get rid of them, correct?
Yes and no. So
Okay.
we do, but it's different. So our focus really is, especially nowadays with animal services all over being overfull. So we really focus on the dogs from animal services. Now, the dogs from animal services are, they're not the ones that are up for adoption to the public. They're the ones that are rescue only, as they put it. Those dogs that are rescue only could be any of a number of things medical, they could have cancer, they could be paralyzed, they could be heartworm positive, they could be injured, etc. It just goes on and on. So, but we also do take some dogs from owner surrenders, very limited, because we are so focused on helping our local animal services. A lot of the dogs that come from owner surrenders they're usually, we see less emaciated and more fat, overweight dogs that are being fed like hamburgers and hot dogs, and they're feeding the dogs whatever. So there's definitely you can kind of look at the dog and get a
Wow.
better feel for animal services or owner surrender.
Okay, so then basically you're saying don't feed them table food.
Well, not
That
as
sounds
like
like
their
it.
primary diet. Yeah, not the primary diet.
Okay.
My dog has sensitive stomach and system anyway. She's a train wreck. But yeah, I mean, you can give them a little bit of something, but no, you don't want to feed dogs based on like human food. It's not good for them, but you want to slip them something,
Yeah, a little,
that's okay.
something a bone now and then.
Yeah, well, I don't know about bone,
I
but
don't.
slip them a something. But no, like my dog likes carbs, so I
Oh,
give her a little piece of hamburger bun or a little tortilla,
oh,
little
that's
pieces
funny.
of it, and
Yeah,
she loves that. But
my dog eats pizza.
I don't blame the dog.
The crust. I don't
Yeah,
give her the sauce because in case there's garlic in it, but I give her the
exactly the
crust.
same. My dog too. She
Yeah,
likes. I give her, but she's so little. I give her a little piece. But yeah.
yeah, that's so cute. What inspired you to put together the polka dogs?
Well, it's a kind of long process. I mean, I moved here like 15 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and I started in rescue because I moved here from Minnesota. I had been engaged. Her and I had a dog. The dog we got from her sister. When I moved, it wasn't fair to take him with. And I would go visit him every year. I'd fly up and see him and everything. He's been gone a while. But so when I moved here, I wanted dogs around.
Mm-hmm.
So I started, and then I did some different rescues. I worked at a rescue too, and then one of the ladies I started the rescue with is Heidi Hardman.
Mm-hmm.
She owns some local businesses too. So like we met at a rescue. She has like business ownership experience, so she knew all about like the corporate, how to become a 501c3,
Okay.
the legal documents and everything.
Which is important.
Which is, yeah, to be legit, it
Mm-hmm.
is important. So we wanted to be like the best there can be, honestly. Like
Mm-hmm.
we just have such high standards, and we just wanted to do it better. So between the two of us, yeah, we've been doing it.
Wow. Okay. So now you have people obviously helping you. We have Donna, and you look for volunteers.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
volunteers are the backbone of the organization. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we couldn't do anything without them, honestly. Right now, we have about 175 volunteers.
Oh my goodness.
It's throughout the state, though.
Mm-hmm.
So we have people that only do home visits. They could be in Miami. They could be in Jacksonville.
Oh, so you're not just in Orlando.
Nope, we do the whole
Okay.
state.
Correct myself then on that one.
Yeah, well, but like, our property is in,
Okay,
this
that's what I.
area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so most of our adoptions are in this area. But, it takes, as the saying goes, it takes a village to raise a child. And with the dogs and
Mm.
the rescue, it's the same thing.
All right. Wow. Interesting. And let's circle around to some stories. And can you share some stories on some of the conditions
Oh,
that some
man.
of these little
Oh, I could all day
furry
long. I
creatures
could.
come in with?
Yeah.
And
Recently, the one of the most recent ones that we were really involved with is really a backyard breeder, almost a puppy mill situation,
mm,
not far from here. And I think a total of 17 dogs came out of that situation. And, we didn't have all the information. You're always kind of limited because people want to like protect themselves. They don't want to get in
mm-hmm.
trouble, that type of thing. But their little shed was just about the worst I think I've ever seen
Oh my
for any
goodness.
dogs. I mean, the dogs were pretty well taken care of, honestly, other than being extremely matted. Um, but it was ramshackle. It
Mm.
was gross. It was just bad. And that's just like one of many. I
Uh,
mean, like I said, I could go on all day.
yeah, well, we got some time, so I'd like us to, you to share some stories so the listeners can understand, what you're doing with this with your organization.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just, oh, my dog, I need a home for my dog, or, I don't know if I feel like, they know that this is a lot going on, and I'm just going to share a little story that I had heard is what made me reach out to you, and hopefully I tell the story correct because it didn't come from you guys.
Don't worry, I'll correct you if you don't.
Yeah, please do. But whatever it was, it would spark me to say, "Oh my gosh, gotta love to get these, you guys on the podcast to talk about what goes on." My dog goes to a babysitter daycare, and when I was picking my dogs up, she had this beautiful little dog in her hand, and said to me, "I said, oh my god, it's so cute," and she said it had a bullet in it.
Mm.
I'm,
What?
and I'm like, "What?" She says, "Yes, it had a bullet in it." And I go, "What?" I'm like, "Who does this? Who takes?" And she said, "PolkaDogz. They took care of this dog, and I mean, dog is better.
It
I'm trying
happens.
to remember which dog.
This is
'Cause
probably about
we've had a couple.
I think it was maybe
So
a year ago, maybe longer.
That's
yeah, I
sad
think it
that you
was a
have
year
more than
ago.
one occasion.
I know exactly. It's not a
Yeah.
first. I mean, I do know. I just can't remember the name. But the first one that comes to mind, I was like the uncle to the dogs. Still am. It's a frequent adopter of ours. My very close friends, and they adopted a dog at the rescue before us, and then since they've been with us and adopting from us. But one day, this was years after they adopted, he had a vet appointment. The dog had a vet appointment, and they had no idea, but there was a bullet in him.
Oh
It had
my
a
goodness.
little, and they were just so disgusted that you know it happened to them, and it is common. I mean, I Okay, so I get very graphic photos sent to me from animal services. I get them daily, and some are really, if they're so graphic, they have like a graphic,
Oh
like,
no, no,
so
I see this. Oh.
yeah, so I get that all the time. Today, lots of times I don't necessarily look at them all because, we have a capacity and we can only save so many. And the more you look, the harder it is. You've got to, if you've got it maxed out, like our rescue, we're maxed out right now. And you've got to kind of step back a little bit because or else you just want to pull them all and save them all. But the one I saw today, I didn't read it. And this is really, I mean, honestly, it's a little, here's my graphic warning, because it looked to me, and I've never seen one like this, and that's why it's jumping up to mind, where like somebody literally tried to cut like the skin off of, because it was like filleted, like the back of the
Oh my
dog
God.
was filleted, and it didn't look like road rash or anything. I've never seen one like this. So then like the stitches kind of were like, kind of like a V. So it literally
Oh.
looks like somebody, and that's, and that's just today, and that really is one of the worst I've seen. But, you think of it,
Unbelievable.
I mean, people have done it, and it's awful. Remington. Yeah, this one's, well, you want to talk about Remington?
Yeah, you're here, Donna.
Exactly.
You got the mic there, lady.
He came to us with a injured tail, a cropped tail, but it was bleeding and it hurt him, and it looked like someone at home tried to crop his tail without the proper tools, without veterinary training. And we took him to the vet. They stitched it up. They sent him back to us. He was unhappy. Took him back to the vet. His back is broken in 2 places.
Oh, my
When they
God.
tried to cut it, they broke his back in the process.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we just don't know. You just don't know. And so that's,
See, and I got an issue with this stuff because here I'm interviewing you, but I'm like, I want to cry. I just like, I can't. That's,
Who are these people? that
these
do this?
mental case people who get these animals, which and that's another thing. We're going to swing into adoption. What process do you have if anyone adopts these dogs?
well, I've been, we'll say, accused from people that it would be, they tell me, oh, forget you guys. It'd be easier to adopt a child. Go ahead
Okay.
and adopt a child. I'm
Yeah.
good with that. You ain't getting
Yeah.
a dog from me. So that's been my thing. We've had thousands and thousands and thousands of apps over the years, and I process 99% of them. So, man, I got stories upon stories. But, normally what you see is like, they submit an application. There's a lot of questions. But one of them, like a couple of the most important things is references and everything. Vet references. If you don't have vet references, we use personal references, that type of thing. But, a lot of the times the vet references, they really don't pan out. I mean, like they're not, we don't need people, and we advertise this on our website and our Facebook page. It's not rocket science. Like, everybody, like, take a look. If you're going to apply at PolkaDogz, like, take a look at what we require, because we require it. We're not going to, like, just say we're going to call your vet and not do it. No, we call every time. So, we require basic. Like, dogs or cats in the house, all of them have to be fixed. There has to be a history of rabies, distemper, and distemper. And then one of the most important things in Florida is the heartworm prevention. They're not doing it. They're not getting a dog. And, I am lied to, honestly, all the time with people trying to pull stuff on me. And it's been 9 years and over 5,000 applications.
Wow.
I've seen many things. So we'll hold people to it. They got to get that heartworm prevention.
Do you do background checks on people?
We don't, because I wanted to, but it's more, it takes to do like a legit background check, because I looked into this for a while. We were trying a couple things. It takes too long to do it. So a lot of people don't want to wait. So if people have to wait like a week for a background check to come through, they're not going to wait. So it was one of those things that was like, we kind of did some stuff that was not as good, but that wasn't really accomplishing anything. I wish, though, that'd be a dream if we could get like a 48-hour background check on these people once we like approve them, or prior to approval. That'd be awesome.
What about the vibe check?
I'm into the vibe for sure. People know that. I'm very judgy. It's just who I am. I'm very critical. And if something feels off, it usually is, honestly. And we've seen all types of stuff at people's homes and what people have said and everything. So yeah, there's definitely a vibe check.
Wow.
So, but after we do the checks, the reference checks, may it be a vet or personal references, we go to everybody's house. We've been to everybody's house that's ever adopted from us. We've done a lot of people have adopted multiple dogs, but all said and done, we've probably done about 1,800 home visits,
Wow.
all over the state. And if some people are like, well, you can't come over, then we're like, you can't adopt. So problem solved.
Yes. Well, right there tells you something's not right.
Yeah.
If they're telling you can't come into their home.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes,
Oh.
yeah. But that's where the vibe check and being really like, hey, can you feel like, does it feel like somebody's lying to you? Because they usually are if it feels like it.
Wow.
So you guys are a 501c?
501c3. Yeah.
501c3.
Yep.
So how do you guys rely solely on donations? Like, how do you sustain your operations?
That was good question, Phil. That was
Do
gonna be
you want me to do it? Or...
Yeah, go for
Okay,
it.
I'll do
you
it.
both can answer it.
Yeah.
We can get on our hands and knees a bit.
That's pretty much right. So like in general, our average operating expenses in a year is over $300,000. Because our vetting is so thorough, we spare no expense. That's really the best way to put it. We'll do dental surgeries. Lasagna, Donna's current foster, who's undergoing chemo and everything. Are we already at 10 grand?
Wow.
On her?
And
Wait,
then
the
you have a
dog's name
dog.
is Lasagna?
You have a dog named
Lasagna.
Lasagna, and your dog is getting chemo.
Not my dog. It's a PolkaDogz dog.
yeah.
Foster
She's
dog.
Foster dog. Okay.
Staying at my house for the medical reason. And
Wow.
we went to Fort Lauderdale for radiation treatment, and now she's taking chemotherapy at home.
And how is she doing so far?
She's doing great.
Oh
She
my
is.
goodness.
She doesn't know she's sick. We
God
won't let
bless
her
you
know.
guys. Yeah. God bless you guys.
So yeah, we'll do whatever it takes, and we do. It's not unusual for us to spend $10,000 or more on a dog because that's our responsibility. When we started PolkaDogz, Heidi and myself said, we'll do what we can, but as soon as there are PolkaDogz, there are PolkaDogz, and we have to take full responsibility of them. So there's no cutting corners.
No. Do you have any events that go on? How do you raise the money? Do you have like?
Yeah, excellent question. So there's a lot of ways we get money to flesh out that answer more. Some of it's adoption fees, but on average, pretty much every dog we adopt out, we lose money on based on the vetting. So, but we also do fundraisers.
Okay.
I think we just launched one today, actually.
And what would that be?
We're using a site called Rally Up, and on it we're doing suite sponsorships. So it's like $1,000 and you can sponsor a suite, and there's there's some goodies you get in the process. And then there's some other options too to do like a partial, like we're working on our quarantine area to like really make it nice and make it like a true quarantine area. So you can do like sponsorships through there, and there's other stuff. We're in the process of starting, like we've never done it before, a 50-50, like an online 50-50 raffle. So that should be fun. So we try all things. Like we try so much. We do in-person fundraisers, annual purse auction. Donna helps with that one a lot. Our volunteer, one of our long-time, almost day oneers, Melanie. That's her baby.
Okay.
And that's our biggest. I think last year we made $10,000 for the first time, if I'm not mistaken, on the purse auction in one night. So, and then we just have people donating. Oh man, it's just everything and anything, whatever it takes to keep the money coming in and that type of. We do a lot on Facebook too, of course. Like Lasagna, we posted her, and we'll post other dogs too when they have major medical, what it takes, and how much we've spent and that type of thing.
Amazing. Wow.
Sometimes conventions will come to town and they ask us to bring dogs so that the conventioneers can sort of de-stress while they're there. And we bring 8 to 10 dogs and keep them there, and people come. When Hurricane Milton hit a little while ago, the families were at the hotel with their kids thinking they were all going to the parks. The parks were shutting down. Their flights weren't going home. And we became a de facto babysitter. All the kids came down to pet the dogs.
Oh
that
my
we had
gosh.
in the-
I actually stayed in a hotel with my 2 dogs
Really?
Yeah.
in Lake Nona. And let me tell you, it was the funniest thing. We checked into the hotel, my daughter and I, and we have our 2 dogs. But I mean, I knew we were going with our 2 dogs. We get there. It's the funniest thing. There in front of us is cars, and everyone had their dogs. And it's comical to see the dogs are sitting in the cars and everyone's getting out. We all sat that night in the bar, in the restaurant. The dogs were everywhere.
Oh.
In the restaurant, people were sitting their dogs on the floor. I said, you know what? This is the most. I know we're there for the storm, but the dogs made it. It was like unbelievable. I would do it again just to check in with our dogs. It was so cute.
That is.
Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, like a little dog party at the
It was.
at the hotel.
Yeah, and
like a
everybody's like,
meetup group with all these dogs. Yeah,
and the dogs were together and sniffing each other.
Yeah.
that would have been fun.
And it actually was. And
Yeah.
my daughter and I said, well, the next one we're going to do that again. So yeah, it actually was pretty cool.
What's the average time a dog stays with you guys?
Yeah, the best way to sum it up is kind of a month because the vetting does take a bit. So we fully vet our dogs, rabies, distemper, bordetella, spay neuters, microchips, and more. So for the whole process from day one, it usually takes about a month. And then some dogs, of course, they stay with us long. We've had dogs stay with us for over a year. And we don't get rid of them. We're a no kill. We've never euthanized a dog except for end of life, end of life. Like we'll do whatever we can. So, but yeah, on average, it's about a month.
Wow.
And the beauty of PolkaDogz is once a polka dog, as Aaron said, always a polka dog. So if someone has adopted a dog and passes away and their family doesn't want the dogs come back to us and we find them a new home. And that's happened twice this year alone.
Yeah, we're fully committed.
So it's a lifetime with you with these dogs.
It is. If something happened and tomorrow 100 PolkaDogz had to come back, which hopefully never will happen. Hopefully that doesn't happen over 10 years. But, we'd figure out how to take care of them because once a PolkaDogz, always a PolkaDogz.
I love the name.
Oh, thanks.
PolkaDogz. I was calling it polka dots.
Well,
Before I knew, I said, what is that called? Polka dots or something? It's some kind of dog. They're like, no, Ellie, it's PolkaDogz. This was when I first found out about you guys a few years ago because I was getting ready to do a fundraiser for you guys. I was a portion of the money was going to go to, I said, it was PolkaDogz. That's how your name first came to me. And it was going to be male strippers.
we're fine with that.
I know.
We're good. We don't care.
I know. And then we're going to do auctions. We're going to just do a lot of things. And I'm like, okay, because that's who I would, I'd love to, if I did something, I'd work with you guys.
Only bring wiener dogs to the.
That's right. That's right.
Wait. Yeah, we're going to auction off some wieners.
That's right. So it's not too late to do a fundraiser for us. Trust me.
No, we will. We will down the line. I can't tell you
I'll
when
tell
right
you.
now because we got so much stuff going on. But you were definitely in my radar, on the radar there.
But the PolkaDogz connection is true anyway because Heidi Hardman, who I started the rescue with, she owns stores called PolkaDogz. That's how I took the name. That's where
It's right on Main Street in
Yep.
Winter Garden because that's what I did.
right on Plant.
We went in there. Plant Street. I was with some friends. They came down from Myrtle Beach. I said, let's go in here. They got dogs or something in here. It's called Polka. Then when I walked in, I said, this isn't it. This is early on when I first moved here when I was learning about you guys. So I'm like, oh, my God.
There is a section there where the proceeds go directly to the rescue, and they ask everybody at checkout if you'd like to round up for the dogs. So the shop PolkaDogz is a big supporter of the rescue
PolkaDogz. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. Very cool.
I stole the name. I asked Heidi. I'm like, what do you think? Let's
I love it.
You change the T to a G and you're good. And she's like, she loves it, of
Yeah,
course, because she
yeah.
owns the store.
Yeah,
so,
Totally.
How is this different from the Orange County Animal Services?
Great question. So, first and foremost, animal services are governmentally funded. So, they have all their money, they get whatever. And then most animal services, and we work with Orange County, for example, Orange County Animal Services, we work really closely with, but they don't have the resources to do everything they want to. So, maybe a dog needs serious medical, heartworm treatment, whatever. They don't have the resources to do that. So the dogs, especially the dogs we get, they're posted out to the rescues, and then we pull them and then we vet them. So it's kind of for a lot of dogs, the ones that are more well-adjusted, healthier, ready to go, they just get adopted at Animal Services. But the ones that have that need a little extra, they go to the rescues.
But the part that people don't understand a lot of times, because it's government funded, if I decide to give up my dogs today, I can drop them there for the most part. And they take in 50 to 60 discarded pets every day.
Mm.
They do not have the facility for those types of numbers, and there aren't 50 or 60 people a day going in to adopt. So while they can be considered a no-kill shelter, they only have to keep 90% of the dogs alive. So a dog that ends up there can easily end up being euthanized. We
Oh.
take them either when it's coming close to that time, it's their time, or they're not going to be someone's choice because they have a broken leg or they. I went to pick up a dog there one day, and as I was leaving, two women drove up in a car and they rolled down their window and said to me, "Which room is the euthanasia room?"
Jeez.
And,
Oh, that's weird.
And I said, "Is that your dog?" And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm with the rescue. Would you mind if we took that dog from you?" And we brought him back, got him cleaned up, got him to the vet, and he was adopted. He'd have been dead a year now.
Oh my
Has it been that
God.
He's
long
in
already?
someone's
It's been
home.
like a
Did
year.
they say why they wanted him euthanized?
The one woman was ill and couldn't care for him anymore.
So take the dog out too?
Right, right.
That's pretty common, actually.
Yes, I was going to tell you my stories. My sister was watching a dog once, and woman went away on vacation, and the woman had it in her will that when she passes, the dog has to be put down too.
What?
Oh,
Yep, and she did pass away eventually, and I was told that they had a. I said, "Oh my God, no!" This woman felt that the dog would never be taken care of, like she took care of the dog. The dog was buried with her too.
Oh,
It's
selfish.
selfish,
hmm
and it's yeah. Don't get me going. I mean, what is wrong with people?
so much.
Yeah, yeah.
So what type of dogs do y'all normally get? Do you normally get a particular breed, or is it just kind of everything?
It's pretty much everything. The only two things we kind of shy away from is, we were trying really hard for last year and this year to do more of the bigger dogs. 50, 40, 50-pound dogs, including like pit bulls and, shepherd mixes and stuff. But our facility, like the suites aren't quite big enough. Like they were not doing as well as we had hoped. So although we still have some and, we're still working on getting them adopted, we definitely learned that for us to have dogs bigger, we need bigger suites. So we stick to smaller, and then we don't do overt aggression. So, if a lot of people, of course, want to surrender their dogs when they're biting. And that's just not something we can help with. We don't have a trainer. We have a very well-educated people that, are great with dogs, but we don't have a trainer. Our rescue itself is very social. The dogs interact. They have play groups and everything. So, yep, so we do. But now we did, just in the last year, end of last year and once this year, we actually, first times we've done, and they've been bigger dogs. We're talking like 50-some-pound dogs. We've done board and train. And it worked out wonderfully for those two dogs. It's expensive, but again, we spare no expense. So we just wanted it to succeed, the dogs to succeed. And they're both in, one's technically a permanent foster, but, essentially it's her dog
Yeah.
now. So
It's like fostering. You probably need foster.
always,
How do you detach?
we
It's
were
tough.
talking about this earlier.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, I couldn't do it. I'd have a problem.
Except when I give up my foster, I can bring in a new dog. So that's a dog who was going to be euthanized,
Okay.
and now he can come to my home, and he has a chance at life.
Okay.
So
And fosters are so vital. I mean, because the rescue itself capacity is, 12, but, we might go to 14. But that's it, because I'm always big about, you don't go beyond your limit. You keep it to a limit, and you don't turn into hoarders. You don't turn into neglectful whatever. So, I have very high standards on that. So, but, you're talking about like max capacity, 14 dogs. Well, that's not many dogs. So how do you do it? How do you save more dogs? It's the fosters. So like I said,
So
I
really,
have like,
fosters are important. Foster
it's,
parents.
it's vital.
Foster parents, yeah.
Like I said, I have about 50 dogs right now, and that's because everybody else is in foster. So these are all dogs that if we didn't have fosters, so many more would, we wouldn't be able to rescue.
So that's something that we really need to, stress on, that PolkaDogz can use some more foster parents for these dogs.
Always committed people, especially
Committed people,
ones that are
honest,
willing
yeah.
to transport to events and transport, to vet appointments and everything. I actually have a little birdie in my ear, pretty much. One of my board members, Jennifer, who helps me on with events a lot. That's her thing, and it's her. We talk about it. Just we need our fosters, but we need those people willing to like transport because. If they're at your house 24/7, and the dog's not getting out, the dog's not getting adopted. So we need people willing to go literally the extra mile to take their dogs to different spots.
Is there a limit on how many dogs one person can foster?
Not officially, but I try to keep everything like, high standards. You keep a limit on things, you avoid hoarding. So I do take that into effect with both foster applicants and adopters. If somebody's already got 8 dogs, even if they're great pet owners that are vetting their dogs, it does mean their dog's going to have a little bit less. They're going to have less one-on-one. It's the fact of the matter. So I do look at that. Sometimes we'll have, I think the most anybody's really ever had was like 4 and less, like puppies. So I have a foster right now who we rescued from that really bad backyard breeding situation. We found out later that one was pregnant, and so the pup had 5. Well, the dog had 5 puppies. So right now she's got mama and 5 puppies. So she's doing a great job. And then what we do now is we won't adopt the dogs out. We used to adopt puppies out, and they'd have to sign like a puppy addendum, which says, hey, here's $100 to us. We return it. PolkaDogz gives it back after the dog makes it to the appointment that we schedule. Now we don't even do that. We just keep the pups with us. So, my foster, she's got these 6 dogs until, they're ready to go. And for the girls, the baby girls, they won't get spayed. We wait until 5 months. So she committed to essentially 6 months of fostering for this litter, which is quite the commitment.
Yeah,
and,
very special people.
It is. It's not
Very
easy
special
for that.
people.
So that's great.
Because non-fixed dogs adds to the population. It adds to our problem. You don't want the dogs out there reproducing.
Is there? Do they have like somebody here that does that, neuters the animals for like a lower price than they would be if they went to a vet?
Yeah, well, there's options out there. I'm not going to say any specific vets because I don't know prices, so I don't want to
I get
somebody
you.
awry.
Yeah,
But
in New York they do.
yeah, they do here
They walk
too.
around these wagons, these like.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of those where they will drive around.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool. I don't know anybody that does
and they'll
that.
park in a parking lot
Yeah,
of a store, and you go in. You bring your.
Wow.
They do the operations right there.
like
You
at the
don't-
West Oaks Mall.
Yeah, right. They could probably do that. We better not say that, but yeah, it's pretty cool actually how they do that.
Yeah, they will, and we need more places like more vets and more organizations willing to do that. Another one along the same lines is kind of nonprofits and for-profits that are providing like spay and neuter vouchers. So, then they get the vouchers and then they can go in and get them done.
Okay.
So there are a lot, but man, if it's just, you think about all the vets locally here and there's, dozens and dozens and dozens, and it's just exploded in the last 10 years, the amount of vets that are local. There's so many more vets that if everybody did like one dog a week, free, just, that would add up
What
immensely.
about, is there such a thing as a vet tech?
Well,
I mean, how now they got PAs.
Right.
I'm doing a
there is.
comparison
There
between,
is.
right?
Yeah, there's vet techs.
I mean, you got your main doctor, then you got millions of PAs taking care. I can't tell you the last time I saw a doctor.
Right.
Yeah, they have the same
Do
thing.
they have something like that
So,
for the dogs?
Yeah,
oh,
they
well,
do.
that, yeah, okay.
The manager we have at the rescue, her name's Sabrina. We hired her a few years ago, and she's one of the reasons that we hired her is she's an actual vet tech, 8 years of
Oh, good, yeah.
experience. But so they can do they can do a little bit. You have to go to a vet to get rabies by law, but like her and I, and we can do some of the vaccines, which helps. She can do like heartworm tests, but you need to make sure you have good holders for that type of stuff. But so there's nothing quite set up like that, that could do like spays and neuters or anything. But there are other options for other types of vetting.
Interesting.
We have standing appointments at 2 different vets and sometimes a third every week, 2 days a week for up to 3 dogs. So we do a lot of vetting. We have 8 or 10 vets that we use across the board for specialties. And It's a lot of money going out the door.
Yeah, too bad you couldn't. I mean, maybe I shouldn't say this, but too bad you couldn't get to like a school where the vets are coming out when they're just coming out of school and like make it like a clinic where you are.
Trust me, we've talked about a lot of things over the years, but there is a shortage of vets
Yeah.
too.
Oh, wow.
There's not that many. I haven't looked this up, but what I've been told, there's not really that many vet schools in the country. So the amount of vets coming out of, becoming vets is not what it needs to be to keep up with the demand. So,
Interesting.
yeah, but I believe one is UF. I believe they have a full out vet school. So
Nice.
that helps,
Okay.
because they're so close.
They should talk about that more in school. Maybe the guidance
sure,
counselors
for
just
sure.
say, "Want to be a vet?" You don't think of that, right? I mean,
No,
you
they
just don't.
they should have a year of like
Ye-
free work before they can become a vet. That's what I think.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
Like a clinic.
I'd be good with that.
I think that would be a good idea. Let's get that going.
Exactly.
We'll keep them busy.
Yeah, we will. PolkaDogz alone.
Right? I think that's like, yeah.
All the kids in elementary school, when they ask them, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" They don't say vet anymore. They say influencer.
Oh my God, and I won't even get going on that. So
Yeah.
I feel you.
Crazy. Everybody's looking for that way out.
Yeah,
I guess.
I guess.
That
They
quick
think
rich
it's easy
scheme.
money. Yep.
You mentioned heartworm stuff. I don't. What is that? I don't.
Great question. So heartworms are, the way dogs get heartworms is from mosquitoes. So mosquitoes will bite a dog that has heartworms or has bit one at some point, and it'll be in the mosquito will have it in its system, and then when it bites another dog, it will spread the heartworms to another dog. So what the heartworms do is they get into the heart and the lungs, and they do some damage. They're worms, so they eat their way through stuff. And yeah,
I gotta give my dog his medication. That you just I forgot.
yeah, it's super
He's-
important.
They're due.
So, and heartworm prevention is so inexpensive, and all it takes is like one tablet. Now there's other options. There's also like an injection you can do, a monthly injection too. But in general, it's a chewable tab, and they take it once a month, and then
That's for fleas too. Thank you for clarifying that.
fleas and tick there. So there's
Yeah, thank
heartworm
you.
prevention, and then there's flea and tick prevention, and then there's all-in-ones that have heartworm, flea, and tick.
That's one I got.
Yeah, my personal preference is keeping them separate.
Okay.
Because sometimes, actually, I'm just thinking about my friends and everybody I've worked with, and a flea and tick. I hope I don't have any like pharmacy companies that are going to hate on me for this, but flea and tick prevention has a much higher rate of side effects than something like a heartworm prevention. So heartworm preventions are pretty safe, like universally safe. And then, it's my same friend. Actually, one of the dogs, two of their dogs had side effects from a flea tick prevention. I think it was an all-in-one, but
That's
it's
what
the
I have.
flea and tick. And the same dog that had a bullet in it ended up having issues because of the flea and tick. I think it was that specific one, which I won't say, but I think it was like 4 out of 10 dogs have some sort of side effects from that flea and tick, which is, you couldn't do that with humans. Why can you do it with, dogs? But flea prevention is super safe. And, a dog can get heartworms if they're on flea prevention, but it's like less than 1%. It's super rare. And if a dog does get heartworms and you've got the worms, they're in their system, the treatment, it's expensive for one. But more importantly, it's very uncomfortable. You get an injection, like a deep injection into your, into the dog gets it into them, and then it starts to kill off the worms. And it's a series of injections, and they have to be kept like as chill as you can make them, because it can lead to heart attacks and other side effects, because
Oh my goodness.
it's the heart. So these dogs, for like essentially from day one, at least a couple months, almost no activity because of the injections. Which isn't easy if you've
So
got
preventative. You must get that
super
heartworm
easy.
preventative.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, thanks for clearing that
It's
up.
super simple. I mean, it's just the easiest thing. And that is where we lose most of our not most, but most of the people that don't qualify to adopt from us, it's because they're not doing heartworm prevention. So,
Yeah, I got the 3 in 1, but they're due now. I got to give them once a month.
yeah, can I ask you which one? Do you want to tell me? Or
Is it
You
bad
tell
to
me
say that
later.
I don't know the name of it? But if you told me,
no.
if you told me,
I'll have to ask you later then, because I can list off a bunch of them.
well, no, I get it from the vet, so
Yeah,
I'd have to
right.
look. It's at home. I don't remember what the package said.
Which is another thing about, well, flea and tick you can get anywhere. Like you don't need to buy it. You can buy it at like pet stores. Heartworm prevention you have a script for.
Yeah.
So that's just a little tip that I've seen is people will be like, oh no, I do heartworm prevention. I picked it up at whatever store,
Oh,
like a
wow.
grocery. I'm like, no, you didn't pick it up at a grocery store. No, you didn't pick it. Yeah, that's not true.
Oh, okay.
You can't. So oftentimes either they're mistaken or forgetting or worse, but
And it's
And one of the problems is that people who live up north, they don't have mosquitoes year round. So they only give it for a period of the year when they live up there, and then they move down here and we have mosquitoes year round.
100%, and that's what happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Up there, I was like, I would buy the tab. It was like 6 in there or something.
usually,
So
yeah.
for 6 months, but I'm like, well, I got 2 dogs, so I can like 3 months, and it's okay. So I didn't give them all year round.
Right.
And what's funny is I bought one of my dogs to the vet last month, and her back was bothering her. Don't ask me why. $800 later, she's fine. I'm like crazy with my animals. Like I noticed when I touched her back, she like
was sore.
and she wasn't climbing the stairs. So I immediately ran her to the vet. They took an X-ray, and they're like, she's fine, but you can give her some, muscle relaxer pain stuff. So I went home, gave her that one day. She was fine. That was like over almost 2 months ago. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, what could have happened to her? I was like, well, maybe she fell. The other dog jumped on her. I'm thinking all kinds of crazy stuff, but she was fine. But what I'm getting at is the heartworm. When the vet said to me, we're just going to do a heartworm test on her, and I thought to myself, why? I didn't bring her in for because I'll be honest, I didn't realize how, even though they're on the medication, I just didn't realize how important that was.
And once they've had heartworm, it can shorten their lifespan. They can be on meds the rest of their life, have a lessened quality of life.
Up north, one thing you don't have to worry about down here, you don't have deer ticks right here, like we have up north.
I was just gonna say it. You beat me to it. So
Yeah.
being from Minnesota,
Okay.
there's different concerns.
Yeah.
So deer ticks. Like some like you can get like tick prevention shots and stuff, a vaccine for it. But down here, it's not really a thing but up north, on the other hand, it's a thing. Like,
My one
you
dog
need to do it.
Had it when he was up in New York. He wasn't feeling good, almost like he didn't want to walk. Ran him to the vet, and they said he had
Like Lyme's disease.
Lyme's disease.
Yeah.
But he was immediately treated, and that was like 4 years ago. He's
Yep.
he's 7 now, but it was 5 years ago.
So definitely, depending on where you are. So Florida, a necessity for heartworm prevention.
So let's take a look at some of these dogs on the website.
Oh yeah.
All right, here we go.
Let's hear about our
You
babies.
guys-
Oh, there you pulled them up even better.
Aw.
All right, so we got Bandita.
Yep.
So do you know all of these dogs personally? Like every single one of them here? You got some history with?
Would it be
familiar with?
embarrassing if I said I didn't?
No.
But I do. So I know all my dogs. Devin there, I haven't met because he is in a foster. He never made it to us per se. He's in a foster with a close friend who's one of our volunteers too. So this volunteer, her name's Renee. She will sometimes rescue dogs that become PolkaDogz that I don't meet because they never make it away from she lives in somewhere near Tampa. I forget what city it is off the top of my head. But so I haven't met Devin, but I still know a lot about him. So I know my babies.
Okay. How do you guys feel about like regular names for dogs? 'Cause I always had an issue with that. Like, why is your dog named Kevin? Like
Well, I don't know about that lasagna. I'm getting hungry
know.
thinking of lasagna.
right? How do y'all feel about that?
Well, I can tell you that there's a few volunteers, if they were here right now, and not just volunteers, employees too, Sabrina, the one who's the manager at the rescue, I get crap from her all the time because I get ridiculous with some of my names, honestly. It's just kind of fun. We try to do like for our record purposes, that's why it all started, is like if you have a dog, like 2 dogs with the same name, it can be years apart. It's just a lot more likely that there's going to be issues with files. So I try to make sure every dog has a unique name. Lots of times, maybe it's just adding like a surname. So, but as far as like a Kevin, we sometimes just for the heck of it, we'll throw in like a Kevin or, just whatever. But normally my names get like kind of out there. So, and I think I kind of do it too to get under Sabrina's skin a little bit. So it's kind of entertaining for me. But I love
That's
those.
funny.
I love those crazy names.
But with 1,800 dogs through the years, there are only so many names. So you got to
Yep.
go kind of out there.
You got to get creative.
That's funny. All right, let's take a look at some of the other ones. We got Donald.
Yep, he had his name before he came to us. And Donald and Bandita, you can see them both right there. They're actually brother and sister, from what we're told.
Oh.
They came from the same house as further down. If Honey Badger. So Honey Badger, I'll give an example. Honey Badger was just Honey, but so many people named their dogs Honey. I had to get you had to get original. So she got a surname of Badger, and she's furthest thing from Honey Badger. But that's her official name is Honey Badger. But their situation was they were not PolkaDogz before, but their mama died, and the sister got with us, and we took the dogs, and she was very generous and donated a few $100s to the rescue, which when people surrender, we don't require any sort of donation, but
that's nice.
They were
that
very
they do
generous.
That. Yes.
So yeah.
And they're on that same page with Will and Grace. They were with their owner.
You mentioned, yeah.
They were PolkaDogz who were adopted. They were with their owner for 8 years. The owner died, and they came back to us.
Is that what the bonded means?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
We don't want to separate
So they're a
them.
pair.
They're
Right.
a pair. Got to go together. And
Oh yeah.
you'll also see a bonded pair on there, Micro and Zany. And those are also me having to like mess with names, but it rhymed with their original names. But yep, there's Micro, and then lower down, Zany should be on there too. I just kind of, there's Will, and then in the corner there is Zany.
Oh.
They're so cute.
Tiny dogs,
They're
7 pounds.
They're a trip though.
Wow.
Like, they bark. They have Napoleon complexes, both of them.
Yeah.
Well, they're
Big
chihuahuas,
time.
right?
They're chihuahuas.
Yeah, they all.
Oh yeah, not just chihuahuas, but teeny tiny chihuahuas. But they have to go together. If dogs are truly bonded, we keep them together, even if it means they're with us for a year or more. It doesn't matter. We're looking out for the dog.
And that is key. It's always about the dog.
Always.
He might have a friend who wants a dog, but if it's not the best fit for the dog, the friend goes without. It's the dogs first, and the people and the money and all the other things
Yeah,
later.
it's like we're not sure if you can get along with this dog, or the dog. We
Or
want
the dog can't
The
get
dog.
along, yeah.
You want the dog to pick the owner.
and some dogs need to go to a home with no other dog or with another
Yeah.
dog, with no children, with no cats, with a fenced yard.
There we go. Yeah, with the
All
fence.
sorts of
yeah.
reasons that it might not be the perfect fit for that dog, but you could have a different dog.
Yeah, recently a friend of mine had said she had messaged me, "Hey, I found this dog. It was in Claremont," and she sent me the picture. It's adorable. She put it on our group chat, and I'm like, "Well, I'll put it on, Claremont." I put it on, I think, Winter Gardens,
Like rants, raves, and reviews.
yeah, all these
and
different things.
stuff, yeah.
But I put it on there with her phone number, and we did find the owner
Good.
through the post that I put on there. But I said to her, make sure you get an ID and a picture of them with that dog. If they can't show you a picture with them with the dog or of
Thank you.
something, I says don't give them
Exactly.
the dog.
We hate to see people offer dogs for free. I post online that
Or say it was their dog.
it's not working out.
Yeah.
Can someone take this dog from me? Those dogs go to fighting rings.
Mm-hmm.
If they're little, they become food for snakes. There's all
Whoa.
kinds of people
Oh, yeah.
doing bad
Oh, let's
things
not get
with
into that one
dogs,
now. Oh.
which is part of the reason we have an adoption fee. A lot of times the county shelters will waive the adoption fee because they're trying to clear the shelters. But we want you to have a vested interest in this dog. If we give it to you for free, you don't have a problem leaving it outside and shutting your door and saying this one didn't work out. We want you to be vested.
Do you guys remember during Hurricane Milton, before it came, there was this dog that was left or tied
Yep.
on
On
I-95?
this, yeah. On this,
Yeah.
Was it I-95? It was on one of the
these highways here. It was like a pit bull, wasn't it?
Do you
Because
guys
they were
remember that
going
dog?
to a free shelter where you paid for a hotel so you could take your dog. Somebody else didn't want to pay. They wanted to go to a free shelter. Shelter wouldn't take the dog, so the dog gets tied up.
I didn't know the story behind it, but we were baffled by that. Like, why wouldn't they just? But see, there you go. Their mentality. I'm sorry, they're ignorant, stupid people. What were they thinking?
My first foster dog.
They should have taken that dog. They didn't get that dog back, did they?
I
No,
doubt it.
no.
I doubt it. They
became
probably
too
got
big of
another
a
one.
thing.
I think the police
Probably.
adopted the dog, right?
I don't remember the story, but
I'll see if I can find it. Hang on.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
My first foster dog was thrown from a car. He had a broken leg, lived on the street for 3 weeks because somebody didn't want him and couldn't drive him to animal services. They threw him out of the car and let him fend for himself.
Mental people, but I can't even say it enough, and I don't want to keep saying it, but I hate to say it, if I had to take out somebody that hurt an animal, I could do it.
Right. It is what it is.
You know, I'm going to be honest. I have no mercy at all.
And you know,
None.
and like you say, everything you've seen and heard and we've said, and Maverick, this is a representation of Maverick. He's our mascot. He is a real,
yeah, there he
let's
goes.
see.
Yep. Can you see him on there? We can see him.
There we go. He's a real dog. He's about 9 years old now. He was found on the side of the road, paralyzed. So he's been paralyzed since day one, and that's one of the things we do. We've had about a dozen paralyzed dogs: Maverick, Goose, Iceman,
that's
Rooster.
funny.
Top Gun.
Yeah, so
Okay.
you got your pattern there, and then but number, I gotta remember this right. Number 2 was Goose. Maverick was first. Goose was second. If I remember right, Goose was left out in a hurricane. And that's why I think we think he's paralyzed, is that he was left outside during a hurricane and something happened.
Man.
So
People are, I just can't get over it. And then it's crazy how they think or they don't think.
or
But
they
the
don't
flip
think.
side
It's
is
just not
we
normal.
have 175 volunteers around the state who are making life better for these dogs.
So we need more volunteers. We need
Always.
more foster homes.
We have
parents.
three
I call 'em
shifts a day at the shelter, 3-hour shifts, 3 people on the shift. We run over 1,000 volunteer hours a month. That's a lot of hours.
Okay. So you need volunteers and they can
We-
get their hours,
That's
Yep.
right?
We do for the most part. Like we don't do any like court ordered volunteering. We tried, it didn't work.
Yeah, if God forbid it was, I don't want to get
Yeah,
funny about it, but they
exactly.
abused an animal.
I know, exactly. So we don't do that.
Actually.
We're very limited on like kids because
Yeah.
like they got to be at least 14, and then their parent would need to be like established already, fully trained, and then if everything's a good fit, they can. But you know, we have lovely, wonderful places like Disney and Universal that will, you know, you put in your hours and they will donate to nonprofits, including us. So, you know, I think Disney now, they'll donate up to $2,500 a year per person that volunteers if they make it till, I think it's 150 hours. So, you know, if we have,
That's nice to hear that.
That's
So
crazy.
Disney will offer them $2,500 a year.
it will go right to us. So,
you.
yep.
So we get the volunteer hours, they come and work, and then Disney gives us money because they worked for us. It's a win-win.
Nice to hear that. Yeah.
So
let's-
you
let's
run the
plug in for
numbers.
let's plug in
I
for
know, Disney, give me a call.
Yeah.
please.
Well, no, because you hear all these stories. We always hear negative stories, right? We're always hear. I'd love to hear positive stories, and that's why we're here. You know, there's good and there's bad, but it's always good to plug in for something that Disney's doing. I mean, it's something like
Right.
who would know that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
it used to be called Volunteers, EARS, but I think they changed the name since. But you think about it, if I had 10 Disney volunteers, and I don't know the exact numbers for Universal, sorry, I don't know how much they donate, I don't recall, but so 10 of them at 150 hours per year in 1 year, if my public school math does me well, I think that's like $25,000 from if you had 10 volunteers
Beautiful.
that did 150 hours. That
So then-
adds up.
We need to get to those Disney
We
employees.
do, and I do have numerous. I
Okay.
have great volunteers from Disney and Universal,
Okay, good.
both. So it's so good. And then they also do things. I think both Disney and Universal will do like a matching donation. So somebody could, I have one in particular who donates all the time. He works, I don't remember which one, I think Disney, but like he'll donate $500 or something and he'll donate it through. And then Disney will match it. So
Nice.
bam, $500 more. So now you got $1,000. It's,
Wow.
you know,
Good for yeah.
All right, let me ask you guys a question. Right, this is for fun here.
Okay.
I'll ask all three.
I
of
like
you.
fun questions.
All right.
I like silly questions.
Come on, Phil.
All right,
Love you, Phil.
favorite dog in any movie or TV show?
I like that question because when I do orientations, I do beginning and advanced orientations for my volunteers. The icebreaker is what's in the first for beginning orientation. I say, hey, what's your favorite, like one of your favorite books? And then advanced orientation, I ask, what's one of your favorite movies? So that fits right in. Now, since I've been talking, I'm hoping Donna has an answer by now.
Thank you for holding him up, but I can't think of one.
Yeah, you know,
Mine's Airbud.
which one though?
Yeah, Airbud 25.
Well, the original. So I mean, I'm
Basketball.
37, so the original Airbud.
Yeah, so like the golden retriever.
Pause? Isn't that a cartoon?
Yeah, Paw Patrol.
Paw Patrol.
How about Paw
Oh my
Patrol?
god.
Beethoven was my favorite.
You like
Scooby-Doo?
Beethoven?
Scooby Doo.
Actually, it would be Scooby Doo. It would. He's.
Or
I
should we
mean,
say Lassie? That was real. That's on the oldies
that's
list.
kind of before me though.
Well, it's
really.
on now. No, I went to my
no,
brother's. Yeah, I went to, like a month ago. He had it on.
Yep, they still play him. So, but
Yeah.
I grew up on Scooby Doo. So
Yes, we all had Scooby Doo.
Animated, if animated counts, definitely Scooby Doo.
Oh my God, it's so funny, right?
Is,
But
is Goofy a dog?
He's a weird dog. I like Pluto more because Pluto's like normal dog, but Goofy is Goofy. So, but Goofy's a dog. Yeah. Why there's a dog that's like a dog and why there's a dog like a human? I don't think that answer. I don't know if Disney's ever answered that question, but
That's
yeah.
so funny. Okay. All right.
Interesting. Well, thanks for that, Phil.
No problem.
So as we move on here, I was gonna ask what's the most rewarding part of this, but I think you kind of answered that. But we can circle back.
Yeah, I mean, you want some good stuff.
Yeah,
I'm maybe not the best at
I
focusing
have
on the
such
positive.
Good stories. I was telling
Yeah,
this one
Donna's more
today.
positive.
Okay,
than
come
me.
on, Don. I need some positive. I don't want to cry tonight when I leave.
And we check in with our adopters.
Mm-hmm.
Is everything working out? How are things working out? And this woman said, "Great. She is perfect. She's new to the neighborhood. Everybody loves her. She's
Oh.
perfect. She has one tooth. She's blind and she's deaf, but she's perfect."
Oh,
So you got the guy throwing the dog out of the car, and then you have this one who
so
takes
they get an extra life.
They do, and they're so happy. They know it.
Which
Oh, I know.
Which dog was that?
Lupita.
Oh, little Lupita. Okay. Yeah.
Just so rewarding to see
Oh,
them go to
yeah.
a new home, to see. We go to PetSmarts on Saturdays, 2 Saturdays a month.
Winter Garden Village.
And people get to come and meet the dogs because they don't get to come to our facility for security and insurance
Yes.
reasons. And it's like watching a first date. People come to meet a dog, and maybe the one they thought they really loved isn't the one for them, and then they see a different one, and
Oh, that's
you
so
watch
funny.
sparks fly. And
Oh my God, like a dating service for
it's
people
exactly,
dating the dogs.
yeah, and they bring their kids and they pet.
Oh,
And really, I mean, this is sad and good at the same time. But like, sometimes people don't have their dogs very long because we do like our seniors. So we have people that like to adopt seniors, and they might not only have them, a few months, maybe a couple years. But it's hard. But that dog got that second chance. So
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
it had a tough 10 years before that, but at least for the end of its life, it got love. And
Yes.
what it should have had from day one, it at least finally got for the end of its life. So, we try to, people reach out to me all the time when their dogs pass, and that's really the focus.
Oh.
You gave them a good end to their life. So we got to focus on that.
yeah.
And we talked about all the medical we do, but that's a lot of what we do too. The dogs come to us and they're terrified. We just got 4 in, and they all hid. They didn't want to be touched or looked at or seen to by a person. And our volunteers go and they'll just sit quietly and wait for the dog to come over to them, or they'll go to someone's home and the person in the home doesn't force the issue. Just, I'll wait till that dog's willing to come to me.
Trust.
And they learn that not all people are like
Yeah.
that bad owner they had before.
Right, and those 4, they came from really it's a puppy mill, and there were I think 61 dogs, and there still might be dogs there. We kind of got pulled in to help, which was good.
That's a question I think I was on earlier, but I don't know if I left it. We kind of went on it. If somebody has an idea that there's an animal being abused, what do they do first? Call you? Call the police department?
Definitely call the police and animal
Okay.
services, one of the two. There's nothing we can legally do.
Okay.
So I always tell them, get with animal services, get with the police department. They're the ones that have the authority to, really do something.
And then they dispatch you, or they call you to.
No, I mean,
Do they-
not normally. What would happen is normally they end up at animal services. Sometimes they end up in court cases. I mean, we do have a couple dogs right now that are part of a court case. I can't give any more info than that. But we've been holding them for, a little bit, a couple months or whatever. Well, that's under investigation. And then we were contacted like last week about a couple more from another county that needed help because the dogs were the people were under investigation for like cruelty and neglect and stuff.
It's horrible to hear, but it's nice that people are recognizing this and they're being helped. I mean, there's children that are being abused, but everyone. I mean, to put a stop, and of course, they're the ones that that is coming back to you. But I'm sure there's a lot that don't. But at least the ones that are, there's an avenue for them to go down, and you're there.
Oh yeah.
and you're there to help.
Yeah, we of course. Yeah, I like to tell people it's a little kind of weird analogy, but I mean it's like, what we do, it's like putting a band-aid on a severed limb. Like no, you can't stop the flow, but at least for every dog we rescue, it's giving them a new life.
Yes.
So the big problem is, out of our control. We can't do that. We don't have control. That's up
Everybody,
to
yeah.
people taking care of their dogs better. It's about getting your dog spayed and neutered, and then just the slow process of new and better laws and making it happen over time. So but for each and every dog we rescue, that's a difference maker for them, and that's you do have to focus on that. You can't focus on all the miserable.
Right,
You do have to
absolutely.
focus on the difference you're making and all the positive stories.
What comes through to you. Now, one more question. How do you decompress?
Donna, you wanna?
I mean, that's a question that you need some decompression.
But when the dog is happy and in your lap and kissing you because you made a difference
Yes,
in their day,
But I mean, sometimes when you can't save everybody,
well,
or just sometimes there's things that, I mean, I wanted to cry just with the, a few things you
some
said
of
to
those
me.
stories, yeah,
like,
it is. But we're sharing the worst of. There are a lot of great stories. There are a lot of people who have adopted 6 and 8 times from us, and again, the people who are willing to take a senior. The woman who said perfect dog, doesn't hear, doesn't see, and has one tooth. She had that dog less than a year. She got it when it was old. It died before she'd had it a year,
Oh,
and she made a
gave
donation
it good.
back to the rescue.
Nice. Okay.
Great people who love the dogs far outweigh the
Oh,
bad.
for sure. And I might not be the best at decompression. I'm a 7-day a week. Like I'm always at it, and I'm not very good at it. So people around me, Donna especially, and a couple other of my people try to help me to decompress and take better care of myself
Yeah.
because
It's,
it's hard because you just wanna keep rescuing and
Yeah.
rescuing and rescuing. So they do make me step back at times, but
it's healthy because you're a leader. You got to be healthy
yeah,
too.
I know.
You have to be healthy too.
But definitely those, like she
Yeah.
just said, is a perfect example of like what we like to see.
Yeah.
You've got these people willing to adopt the senior dogs that don't have much time. Those to me, those are like the best of adopters willing
Oh my
to.
gosh.
They
Yeah.
know they're gonna have heartbreak and it's gonna be soon, but they're gonna save that dog anyway.
It's
Because
very
you're making
beautiful,
his
yeah.
final days happy.
Exactly.
He might have
Nice.
had a lot of rotten days, but he went knowing he was loved.
Oh,
And dogs
beautiful, yeah.
do have short memories as far as that goes. They live in the day. They don't, they don't obsess and focus on the past. They're really good at living in the moment. And
So people need to learn from them.
they do. Yeah,
I know people that live in the past. I'm like, get out of there already.
right, and they definitely remember. They remember things from years and years and years ago, no doubt.
My dog
But-
remembers the TV.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, if there's a movie, and naturally maybe on 20 times, because like a lot of times I'll put the TV on. I'm not watching it, but it's just for noise. He knows when the dog's coming on.
I haven't seen that before.
And I'm
That's
telling you,
awesome.
and he's just turned 7, and I only noticed this recently that because I was watching the movie again, and I was like, oh my god, he just jumped off the couch because he watches the TV. He watches the TV. He jumped off the couch before it got to that point where the dog was.
He was getting
wanted
all
to be
ready to
ready.
bolt.
Or he's psychic because I noticed he does that. Like he knows, or a horse, whatever. If there's an animal, he'll run to the TV, and then all of a sudden the animal will come into the screen. I'm like, oh my god, how did he
That's
remember
crazy. What's his favorite movies?
that? I think Benji. She put Rosalie has them a lot.
Oh,
She-
really?
yeah, so she has all the videos. If you see any of the videos from her TikTok and you see this crazy dog barking at the TV, it's him, it's Casper, little Maltese.
I know Casper. I think I've met Casper.
You probably have.
Yeah,
It
she
was-
still just did she watch him last week at all?
Yeah, she did.
I was at her house. Yeah,
And
I
Lulu.
think I saw
Casper and Lulu, but Casper is like well known at the park. He's like the mayor. He runs around, talks to everybody, barks.
And what's Lulu?
Lulu's the female, but they're just like brother and sister. They're both
Same
really-
like Maltese or different
Maltese.
breed?
Yeah,
Okay.
Maltese.
There was a chunk of Chihuahua that was there too. She was watching. Who's a
Yes.
trip? So
I think that's hers now. I think she
uh,
adopted that.
Peanutter?
no, oh, no,
Oh.
no, Pete, no. I can't remember the name.
No,
I
I
think it
think
was a
she-
female
I
Chihuahua.
think she adopted one that looks like a sausage.
Yeah, it looks like a sausage.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. It does look, yeah, a sausage. That's pretty accurate.
Wait,
Yeah.
wait, sorry, Rosalie. She watches
Yeah,
this.
sorry. But no, what made it sound like she didn't have, that wasn't her dog.
Oh, maybe
though.
not. But I thought, why did I
So,
think she
but
had?
she is fostering one of our dogs right now.
Okay.
And I think one of the same friend, the one whose dog had a bullet in it from who knows when, they're probably adopting that little Chihuahua named Chiquita.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, no, I think that's the one.
No, that's a different
That's
one.
not a different.
No,
Okay,
no,
maybe it's a different.
Chiquita came to us recently. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she had one the other day she was watching because she had to watch Casper and Lulu because I was going away. And she said, oh, I got to bring the dog. One of the dogs was being adopted. I don't know if it was with you, though.
I don't think it was with us.
No, it could have been someone else. But she
Yeah.
said it was getting, so she's got to run all over and she sends them. She'll go, oh, there's, my girl's leaving today. She's getting adopted. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, she did foster a dog named Peanutter, who is getting adopted by her newer foster.
Okay.
His newer foster, Peanutter's a male.
Yeah, I
so,
think that's maybe the one.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, yeah, it's such a special. You guys are amazing. You're special.
Well, thanks.
And gosh, God bless you. And I hope everything and
Yeah, I like that. I like those sound effects. Thank you.
Well, thank you for bringing attention because that's
Oh.
how we get funding. That's how we get volunteers. That's
Yeah.
how we get fosters and just get our name out there so that when someone's looking for a dog, they don't go to the pet store. They look to adopt, not shop.
yeah, you're right. I have just yesterday on Facebook, I have a cousin in New York, and she just posted that they adopted a dog, and she actually said that, not to buy it. And then I saw another relative of her, like all just did the same thing. So a lot of people are catching on more to what you're, let's go there and get the pets. Then
And
hey.
I want to give props to Orange County because a couple years back they did pass a law or whatever, maybe a statute, I don't know. But anyway, there can't really be pet stores in Orange County anymore.
Okay.
And I got to be careful how I say it because although there's one still in Orange County because the mayor of that city said it was okay for them to stay open.
Oh, so
that
it was
a big
grandfather
to-do.
claused.
It wasn't
kinda.
grandfathered.
Oh,
it
no.
was, we don't need to follow this rule.
Oh,
so
well.
we're going to do it. So, and it might be pretty darn close to here. So just.
Well, he's
throwing that
probably
out
related
there.
to the.
Yeah, there's something going on, but there was a big to do. A bunch of us went, protested it, but they didn't care. The city council didn't care. They had their mind made up. They were going to do. So you've got this one in I think literally one in Orange County. That's it.
Okay.
And
Well, thank God
then-
everyone else is following the same
Yeah,
rule.
the other
Nice
cities,
to hear
they
that. Mhm.
kept to it. They did what they were supposed to, and not only that, but this one place, you got a monopoly. I mean, which is illegal. So I don't get that. It doesn't make sense to me.
Well, there's got to be a connection, and I'm not going to start throwing
Yeah,
that out
there's
there because
some-
we don't
yeah,
know them.
we
You
don't
don't know
know
them.
what
I
it
don't know
is.
them. But something's
But
not
yeah,
right.
there's something not right, and they have
Something don't
that
sound right.
pet store really has a bad reputation, history of going to puppy mills, like it's been proven and everything. So that's frustrating because it's like things like that. It's like instead of doing the right thing, it's all about the dollar bill.
Well, that's why I said there's something going on there, and that's all I'm going to
Oh,
say.
yeah.
We're going to leave it at that.
Exactly. So, unfortunate side of that is in other counties, and I live in Lake County. Like they were popping up in Lake County and other counties right outside of Orange County, because they could. So I'm not saying it's the fault of Lake County that they were popping up, but now maybe it's time for Lake County to pass the same
Yeah, because it's
rules
yeah, totally.
in other
I get it.
counties too. So eventually, the goal, I mean, a difference maker would be making pet stores, not like PetSmart or Petco or anything like that, but stores that sell kittens and puppies and stuff like that, to just not make them legal anymore. That would be a difference maker. That would be that would actually make a huge difference.
Yeah, absolutely,
So-
it would.
Because they're the opposite, where PolkaDogz is all about the dog and everything else follows. One story, Heidi and Melanie, the two originals with Aaron, we're at an event, and we do these events either to get the dogs seen so they can get adopted, or because we're given a donation to be there and to bring in the money so that we can save the dogs. They were there, and Heidi's phone rang, and it was a breeder, and his dog had died giving birth, and he couldn't do anything with the puppies. He didn't have a mother to nurse the two that had already been born before she died. And so he was going to get rid of them, or she could have them. So she's going to take in two dogs that need to nurse, that don't have a mother. That,
Is there another one? If too bad you didn't have another dog nursing.
Right.
Yeah, like a wet nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you can find one. No, seriously.
Yeah, no, I think they do that. I think they can.
Yeah.
I think in this case there was somebody had to bottle. I think bottle feed them.
Well, they're going
Do
to
you
have to
remember
bottle
what it
feed
was?
them until they get.
I don't.
This was a while ago, a couple
Okay.
years ago.
Yeah, but this is why
Mhm.
This is what
the
we.
backyard breeders get
Yeah.
a bad name because they're not in it for the dog.
No.
Yeah.
When he couldn't care less about those pups. If I can't get them to the point where I can sell them to someone, I just don't want them.
Yep.
Trash.
Nasty, nasty people. Wow. Well, I want to thank you both for coming on to
Oh,
Storytime with Ellie.
Thanks for having us.
As our motto is, everyone has a story. With yours, and you have an incredible story. And thank you both for sharing that with us today. And let's get your story
Well,
out
if you ever have us
there.
back, I'll bring a dog.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Now-
did. Should have had one with me.
Yeah, Phil, when he got out of the car, I looked, first time I saw them, I said, "Where's the dog?"
It's
I
all
didn't
good.
realize.
I think they felt bad, like, "Oh, you don't want to
I
see us." I'm like,
did.
"No, I want the
no,
dog."
I know.
It's all good. It's all
But
good.
you just
Yeah.
don't know where you can bring dogs. That's the main thing. 'Cause
Well,
it-
we bring them everywhere.
yeah. So next time, if we ever, we'll make sure we have a dog.
We'll do this again. We'll
Or
get
we'll
you in
come
here.
by for a quick visit. You just let me know.
Absolutely, we'll bring all the dogs now.
Yeah.
PolkaDogz.org.
Maybe not that. Yeah.
Polka
Oh, I do
dogs.
want to say one last thing though. We are in Howie in the Hills. Our facility is not open to the public. It is for the dogs. It's their home. So volunteers, you won't find our address online. It's just so as good as you get is we're in Howie in the Hills. It's about 25 minutes from like downtown Winter Garden, and it's 25 minutes. That's nothing.
And the applications are on.
Everything. Yep, everything.
Okay.
Volunteer app, foster app.
Okay, good. So they can go on your app right there.
They can do it right
PolkaDogz.org
there. And hopefully join us.
Okay,
We need it.
perfect.
If you love dogs, I mean, it's the place to be. Our group is very accepting, very friendly, and it's the dogs. It's all about the dogs.
I'm
So
afraid I'd want to take them all home.
I hear that a lot.
And that would make you a foster.
But
We'd
you know
love
what?
to have you.
I always tell everybody that says that.
I got Casper and Lulu.
Yeah, that's true. So anybody that says, they're worried they'd take the dogs home, they won't, because I just won't approve them, and then they can't take a dog home. So it's no worries.
There
So
you go.
there you
Okay.
go. So if you,
There you
yep.
That's a good idea.
All right, guys. See you later.
Yes,
Thanks,
thank
guys.
you.
Yep.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Phil.